So the reason I chose that particular clip is because sometimes we look at this business and all we focus on is the business. And we fail to look at the things that we do in our daily life that affect our business, right? Are we keeping the main thing the main thing? Are we honoring our family? Are we honoring our partners, our spouses? Are we honoring our kids? Are we honoring ourselves? Are we honoring our faith, right? Are we doing those things in life and continuing to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves? Because this business is hard enough as it is, right? It's simple, but it takes hard work. And when I was watching this, I was in the cold plunge when I was watching it, and I kept thinking to myself, I was like, wow, anytime that I've had a valley here in this business, it's always because I've taken my life out of balance. Things start to go well here, so then I'm okay. If I just do more of that, right? Like I make $10,000 in a week. If I just do that next week, I'm going to have the same success. But we only look at the business aspect of it. Part of what we do on a daily basis is the small routine things, right? We get up, whatever that is, brush our teeth, pray, meditate, whatever those daily rituals and cycles that we do, we have to continue to do them. And if you talk to anyone that has had success in any industry, right? Every aspect of their life is routine. And we tend to get out of balance when we have that success. And it's okay to be out of balance sometimes, right? But like they said, you have to go back and look at when you were successful, what were the things that you were doing that made you successful? And I'll take myself for instance, right? So whenever I was growing a large team, and Brenda's been here for that, where we've had a large team and we've had a lot of success, and everyone was being productive and having a lot of success as well, is I was doing all my routine things, but I was also volunteering. I was also putting my energy into other things that would allow me to not focus on the business for that amount of time. And it gives you that time to reset. We're human beings. We need connection. We can't always be on Zoom. We can't always be dialing, right? So that's why the calendar is so important. And that's one of the biggest pitfalls of being an agent, right? Is that we put our calendar out of balance. So when you guys are creating your calendar, make sure that you guys leave the balance in there for the things that are important to you as well. Because as long as you're taking care of those things, the universe has a way of making sure that you're going to be successful in what you're doing to generate an income for yourself. And I know it may sound odd, right? It may be like, hey, you're full of crap, Michael. That's not true. But Brenda, whenever you've been out of balance with the business and things weren't going right, did you stop doing the things that you were supposed to be doing on the other side of it?
100%. And it's funny because we were actually talking about that. I have accountability call with a sideline that I do once a week, and that was actually something we were talking about too, is like, being able to fill up your cup with whatever that looks like also. So that way you're in, harmony, if you wish, with what you're doing in life in order for it to flow into the business side of things. Because if you're running on empty fumes, it doesn't matter what you're trying to do, it's going to correlate to everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, part of that in this business is not doing this business by yourself because we tend to isolate ourselves. We work from home, we work in our home office, right? Whether you work in the dungeon or a basement or you're, upstairs in your attic or wherever your home office is, right? You isolate yourself there. So the way that I've seen the most successful people build this business is building it with others. When you have someone that's green, right, and you have some experience, when you're able to pour into them and see them have success, it fills your cup in a way that you're like, man, I want to go do more of that now, right? Because you get inspired by inspiring others. That's just how life really works. Kenneth, I mean, you've been in sales forever. I mean, you've been in marketing and event planning and things like that. And I mean, I'm sure it's worked the same way for you. I know you're driving, so you don't have to, I don't want you to to try and unmute, but I'm sure that you've got, stories when it relates to that. Michael, I'm sure you have stories when it comes to that, right? Chuck, same with you. I'm not sure who Galaxy S10e is. But when we find that balance in the things that bring joy to our lives, we're going to bring joy into the workplace. When you're not joyful in your life, you're going to carry that over into your conversations with your clients. And it happens every single day. How many of you guys have ever had a bad day, a bad week, right? And you carry that into your dial session? I've done it, right? And you get very short-tempered with the people on the other end. So if they piss you off, right, what are you going to do? You're going to be short with them, and you're going to end the conversation instead of digging in. So that's what I wanted to focus on today, and that's why like I said, why I chose that video. I feel that as humans, we have to have that connection with other people as well. So whether you love volunteering, whatever your hobbies are, make sure you guys are digging into those and your business will flourish as well. Because when you're filling your cup, when you come here, when you sit down at your desk to dial, you're going to feel fulfilled. And then you're going to be able to be compassionate, empathetic, right, with the people that you're talking to. I can't tell you how many times so the last 2 years I've been on the board for our community pool, and it has been one of the most stressful 2 years I've ever had. It's not something that I would have normally put myself into. I was voluntold by my wife. She put my name out there and she's like, "Hey, they need a board member and it's a good way for you to get involved in the community." And so I thought it was, right? Little did I know that I was going to be responsible for a whole lot. I came in as the vice president and took over the presidential roles because the president stepped down. And I didn't know anything about this community. I didn't know anything about the pool itself because we just moved into this community 2 years and 2 months ago, right? And I was just like, geez, this place is a mess. So what do? I take it upon myself, right? Because that's who I am. It's like, all right, now I got to fix the pool. I had an opportunity to stay on for 2 more years, and I told him, I said, look, guys, I gave a lot out of my life over the last 2 years, and I'll be happy to be a consultant for you guys after I leave. But when I made that decision, it was about 2 weeks ago, right before Labor Day, that I made the decision that I wasn't going to continue on after this term ends. Man, I felt this weight lifted off of me. It's just like, and my activity level here has gone up even more because now I don't have to worry. I don't have all those little things running in the back of my head like, hey, have the contractors gotten there? Did we lose membership? Are we going to have enough money to pay the bills at the pool for the next 3 months? Like we're going into the dead season, right? The memberships don't start collecting until October 1st, and we have $12,000 in the bank, but we got $18,000 of bills that are coming due between here and the end of October for the pool. And I was like, you know what? That's not my responsibility anymore. And we didn't have a single person step up when we put out for board nominations, and it was stressing me. So at the board meeting on Sunday, I told them, guys, we don't have a single person that's been nominated. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, I talked to so and so. There was 6 people that put their name out, right? But I put it out to the universe because I was like, there's no one there. And I started talking to my mentors in other areas of my life, and they're like, hey, Michael, when there's a void in leadership, people will step up. People will rise to the occasion to fill in that role. And that's exactly what's happening. The same thing will happen here, right? Make sure you guys are reaching out and reaching up and utilizing your mentors, using your uplines and using, your sidelines. Your sideline, guys, find a sideline. You guys are in the accountability call. You know what I mean? If there's someone that's talking or something like that, reach out to them. Find them on Facebook. If you want to talk to them, reach out to me, reach out to Brenda. We know a lot of people across cemetery and we can put you in touch with them. Because I get it. Sometimes talking to the same person over and over that's in your team, right? It can get a little too personal. But when you find someone that's on the side, someone that may be running for the same promotion as you, they'll be able to help you through that. Or find someone that's a level or two above you, and they're going to be able to help you with those pitfalls that you fall into as a new agent, right? So one of the things that, and we're going to do this one next week, that way I can have the full time to do it. But the one that we're going to do next week is, I just finished the PowerPoint for it. So it is called the 8 Landmines New Agent Step On. And I was playing with last week. We coached to the grade 8, right? So just so you guys have an idea of what it is, right? Number one is fear of the phones or avoiding prospecting in general. Two is overemphasis on product knowledge. How many of you guys have ever felt that you have to know everything about every product? You don't, I promise. Let us help you with that. Not following the proven system. I just went back through Agency Owner Academy. Sometimes when you go back and you review something, you're picking up on things you didn't see. You had your blinders on for whatever reason, and now that you're in a new season in your life, you're going to see new things, right? I tell you guys, like when I read the Bible every year, there's something different that sticks out to me in each chapter that I'm reading because I'm in a different area of my life, right? Number four, failing to manage money or expectations. Let me give you guys an example. You come in as a brand new agent, you have uber success your first month. You do five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10,000, right? You're like, man, this is easy. This is going to be great, right? And then what happens? The next month, you only book 12 appointments the entire month instead of 12 in a week, right? So now you didn't manage your money properly because you spent all that money that you got on commissions, right? Instead of managing your money for leads for the next 90 days. Five, lack of consistent training and coaching. Again, this goes back to following the coaching from the Great Eight and using the system that we have. We have tons of trainings throughout the week. Find one, you know what I mean, that you want to use that week. Six, week time management. And you see schedule. It comes up twice in the grade eight. It comes up in your four keys to success and the four cornerstones. Schedule is the most important thing for you guys here. Seven, and we just talked about this, neglecting relationship building. If you try to do this business on your own, you're going to fail. And I'm not trying to be a jerk, or I'm not, trying to put anyone down. If you try to do this business on your own, you will fail. I've done it. I'm sure Brenda's done it. I'm sure Chuck's done it. I'm sure we've all done it in different areas of our life, but this is a relationship-based business. You can't learn if you're not willing to put yourself out there. And then number eight, and this is why 8% Nation exists, 92% of people quit too soon. 92% of people that get their license quit too soon, and they quit in less than 2 years. Do you know what it takes to be successful here? 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years before you hit your stride. So we're going to talk about that next week. That's what the whole PowerPoint presentation will be on. We're going to break that down on each one of those eight things. That way you guys are, have that understanding, and we'll be able to focus on the things that we can focus on, right? So I wasn't trying to take the call negative in any way, but I just want to put them, if we're not aware of the things that are going to trip us up, we're going to trip all over them, right? And you heard Matthew say there, right? Like if we always beat ourselves up whenever something goes wrong, and we can identify it, right? Hindsight is 2020. You can always look back and see what went wrong. But when things are going right, rarely do we take the time to say, well, what did I do to get to this point that made me so successful or made this thing happen? You know what I mean? So for right now, I'm going to turn it over. Anyone have any questions or comments they'd like to add?
I just want to say, and it's funny that it all correlates together because I heard it on a podcast or something I was listening to that about how he said to pinpoint out what you don't want to be if you can't figure out what it is that you want, because then sometimes that automatically directs you into where you want to go by product of elimination, pretty much. And that's something that, I've always kind of struggled with because I am single, I don't have kids, so I don't have like that kind of a why. And so I've always had to kind of figure out like what would be my good why, but being able to eliminate the things I don't want to do, go back to a job, doing those kind of things kind of pushes me into creating the why I'm doing this in the first place.
Absolutely. And here's something that I do that's funny. And you guys may laugh about it, you might think it's weird, but I will purposely apply for a job that I know I'm qualified for, and then I'll get an email back and says, "Hey, Michael, because you lack so many years of job experience, right? Because you've been self-employed, you're either overqualified or you're underqualified." And it just reminds me that I'm unemployable, right? Like this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to be an entrepreneur. I'm meant to lead an agency, and I love it. I wake up and I'm like, man, I couldn't be more blessed, Like I got up this morning, I made Caleb breakfast. He and I talked. I did my devotional. So I read and then I do my devotional. And then, I walked downstairs and it was 6:30. So I had already been awake for, 2 hours. And I was like, man, I got all this stuff done early today. Like what am I gonna do? And I realized like, oh, I got three wood projects because I love wood projects. I like making furniture and different things like that. I went to my garage, I took out the vacuum, I cleaned up my work area, right? And I got to work on some projects that I did. And at 8 o'clock, I was like, man, I feel so accomplished. But man, that filled my cup in such a way that I was like, wow. But then I did something else. I rewatched last week's uh team call, and I would encourage you guys to do that too. Rewatch your videos that you recorded yourself, things like that. But last week I didn't feel like the team call connected for whatever reason. And you guys knew I was sick. I told you guys that, right? I went back and I watched it, and I'm gonna go back and watch this recording as well. Last week I had over 100 ums and ahs. Today I probably had three. I was on mental overload last week. I was sick. I was sick because my son got me sick. Like I can blame that, right? But it's because I didn't take care of myself enough to stay well. But I gave you guys a poor product last week, and I apologize for that. We were coaching on something great, the grade eight, but I didn't bring myself as the best person as I could. And I went when I heard all the ums and ahs, I was like, that's exactly what it is, right? I wasn't pouring from a full cup. And part of that was the whole pool thing and everything else like that, right? But when I'm able to recognize those things, it makes me a better version of myself to help you guys grow as well. And I hope you guys took something out of today. I know it wasn't necessarily the message anyone was looking for, but I hope it was something that you needed to hear. And guys, I'm always open to feedback or anything like that. So if you don't, even if you don't want to share here on this Zoom, please text me. Let me know if there was something that you took out of it, if something you didn't like about it. That's the only way I can grow as well. So with that, guys, that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Don't forget that tomorrow we have deep dive. Oh no, sorry, tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow we have the national call, and then we also on Thursday we have the deep dive. So. And if you guys want to be a part of it, I encourage every single one of you guys be a part of our accountability group. Meets at 9 o'clock every morning, Monday through Friday. That's 9 a.m. Eastern. If you can't be a part of it, go to SFG Quotes at the very bottom. It'll say Jim Larson. Click on that, and he has every single accountability call. And there's different leaders, guys. It's 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes it runs a little long. Put it on 1.5x, 2x, whatever you got to do on YouTube, and get some inspiration from some of these great leaders that are out there. And that's why we made that conversion instead of me doing it all the time, because I can't be 100% all the time. But when these leaders come, they're bringing their A game every single time. So you get to hear from someone's full cup every single day. And then don't forget on Fridays, instead of going to a breakout room, for running the numbers. They now have a prayer group on Fridays that meets after the accountability call. So 15, 20 minutes of fire, right? And then we go right into the prayer room. So for those of you guys that want to be a part of that, it's been huge. We do it on Thursdays after the daily huddle, having it now on Fridays as well. It just reaffirms that I'm in the right place at the right time with the right people because we're all moving forward in the same direction. So with that, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Very nice.